were parliamentary privileges violated. Metal barriers outside Parliament. Prime Minister to deliver special address. Police read out court order to protesters opposite temple trees. Sri Lanka's economic position. Maithripala responds to Anrukumara Disanayaka's revelations.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
LB Yasaisuru, unparalleled rewards for a trusted deposit.
Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jaimal Ratnayaka. Today is the 4th of May 2022. Let's start off with your headlines for tonight. Youth protesters who were arrested opposite Parliament released on bail. University students protest opposite Parliament. Court order issued on Mainagogama protest area. Police remove buses while protesters remove tents. Sri Lanka's dollars dropped to less than 50 million. I am just a night watchman, Finance Minister Ali Sabri says.
මම මේ කරන්නේ නයිට් වොච්මන් කෙනෙක්ගේ ජොබ් එක. අර ක්‍රිකට් වල තියෙනවා හවසට විකට් යන්න ගියාම ඉදිරි පෙළ ආරක්ෂා, පසු පෙළ ආරක්ෂා, ඉදිරි පෙළ ආරක්ෂා කිරීම කරනවා. පසු පෙළ පුද්ගලයෙක් ඇවිල්ලා විකට් එක බේරගන්න. මම මේ වෙලාවේ කරන්නේ ඒක.
Former President responds to corruption allegations by JVP and the voice against corruption. Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister appeals to collect aid for Sri Lanka. As you witnessed just now, the 13 protesters who were arrested earlier today for allegedly violating the parliamentary privileges of MPs during a protest opposite Parliament were released on personal bail by the Cadwella Magistrates Court.
අද විනිශ්චයකාර දුමියා මේ රටේ නීතිය ස්වාධීනත්වයේ විශ්වාසය රැක එකගෙන අපි ඇත්තම අත්‍ය වශයෙන්ම මුදුම ප්‍රණාමයක් පුද කරන්නේ ඉන්න පොඩි
අත්සන් කරේ නැත්නම් මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා කොච්චර බලන්නේ
අපි ගියේ අපේ අනාගතයේ එක තප්පරයක් ගාන විනාශ කරන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්න මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට පණිවිඩයක් අරගෙන දැන්වත් රට ගැන හිතපල්ලා මෙච්චර කල් තොපිලා හිටිය තොපේ බඩ ගැන විතරයි මේ පාරවත් තොපේ බඩ ගැන හිතන්නේ නැතුව රටේ අනාගතය රටේ බඩ ගැන හිතලා තීන්දුව తీරන ගන්න තව දවස් දෙකක් තියෙනවා
Throughout the years, the Supreme Court has held any person has the ability to either praise or criticize the government without resorting to violence. These protesters did not even carry a pole. They did not act violently either. They did not obstruct vehicles entering Parliament. Those who represented the suspects pointed out that there is no impediment to investigations or other hindrances and requested bail to be granted.
Some youth activists had gathered outside Parliament, urging the Speaker to allow a no-confidence motion against the government to go ahead. They had handed over their request to a representative of the Speaker near the parliamentary complex. The activists had then begun a protest at the Jayathikapura entry point to Parliament. They called on lawmakers to intervene and resolve the crisis in the country. Police officers had arrived at the location on a bus and arrested the protesters. Police spokesperson SSP Newsfirst.lk said 10 men and 2 women were arrested and taken to the Maharagama police station. Lawyers and youth then gathered at the Maharagama police station. Our correspondent reported that officials from the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission had arrived at the location. The police produced the suspects at the Kaduwala Magistrates Court. The Aturugiriya police arrested another person near the entry road to Parliament today. Metal fences have been set up around the parliamentary complex since last night. Roadblocks had been set up at all entry points to Parliament. Opposition lawmakers questioned the arrest of protesters near Parliament Road. I wish to tell the military officers that it is your relatives who are involved in these protests. These are your parents. These are your farmers who supply rice. These are your brothers. Don't harass the protesters for fear of losing your jobs. Metal fences were set up outside Parliament to strengthen security. The police have forcefully arrested some peaceful protesters including Bonaka Pereira, Melanie, Vibitika Polduwage and Nirashan. They are trying to stir violence. Don't provoke these young activists to get involved in violence. This is wrong. This is not a country ruled by a dictatorship. This is a democratic country. I'm requesting to inform the police station to release them. Anyone has the right to freedom of speech and peaceful protests. That's a fundamental right. Sirasa had covered this. There are visuals of this group booing at some parliamentarians. The police have arrested them and produced them in court since they are harassing parliamentarians by booing at them. This is a time where parliamentarians should be allowed to come here freely and provide their support. When activities like this happen, they can't do this. The arrests were made based on a request by the Speaker after considering the police report. I submitted this report based on information provided by the police and details reported by Sirasa. A protest march launched by student unions of the Colombo and Moratuwa universities reached the roundabout near Parliament at 4 p.m. today. Students removed barriers set up by police and held the demonstration. A heated argument broke out between protesters and the police. The students then dispersed after a few hours. The Bar Association of Sri Lanka says people who lawfully exercise their right to protest cannot be arrested. The lawyers' body insisted that the people's right to protest peacefully must be respected and upheld. It observed that there is an escalation of the situation around Parliament where protesters have gathered. The BASL calls upon the government, the Inspector General of Police, police officers and the armed forces to act with utmost restraint. The police today read out a court order to protesters opposite temple trees, the Prime Minister's official residence in Colombo. Some lawyers had arrived at the location afterwards. The court will issue a reasonable order on the 9th. If we consider the order issued on the 2nd, then the vehicles parked here will have to be moved as well. If the road is blocked even after the vehicles are moved, we will have to remove these tents. Since we have gone to court over the police, we expect the police to act ethically. Therefore, engage in the protest peacefully on the pavement without blocking the road. The police took steps to remove the buses that were parked on the pavement opposite temple trees.
For the 26th consecutive day, Sri Lankans are protesting at Golface opposite the President's office, demanding a change in administration. Newsfirst Rochelle Modera brings us the latest.
Occupy Golface protest has been ongoing for 26 consecutive days. Now, what initially started off as a routine protest has now evolved into a movement where Sri Lankans from across the country have joined hands in order to express their displeasure against the current regime and the current conduct of the regime of this country. Resilient Sri Lankans, regardless of age, religion, race, have banded together in order to demand change, in order to demand a new system of governance, a long desired change in the system.
Have any luxuries being Sri Lankans anymore, because for the basic needs we need to spend so many hours, and those are productive hours that we are spending on the road. So please listen to the protesters. Please don't take the law to your hand, because we have the freedom to protest. We have the freedom to tell what we feel as citizens. We've given you the power, and that's why you're there. So please listen to all of these, the majority of the country. Please step down.
These people have to fold up and go, because we can't let the people suffer like this, you know. Everybody is affected by this. They just talk nonsense in Parliament, you know. They are always criticizing each other and talking about what the other people did in the previous government, and that is not right.
These politicians for the past 70 years or so, they need to know that their time has come now, because all these years they have fooled the people and they think that they can do this and continue like this.
People continue to gather at Golface opposite the President's office in Colombo to join the protests. What can they do by coming into power using the votes of innocent people whom they cheated? When there is no end to this burden, it's not surprising to see people coming here. They have remained in power for long enough. It's been 2.5 years. You can see that they have done something wrong. We are asking them to resign. The Gramanildari Trade Union Collective held a protest at the Colombo Fort railway station today. They marched towards the Gota Gogama protest area at Goldface. As officers at the grassroots levels, we are facing the same situation as the people. We came here demanding to change this situation, unite the country, provide relief to the people and state officers, and create a suitable environment for people to live. The government is wasting time without resolving the problems of all state officers. The 225 parliamentarians are not paying attention to this either. The protesters tried to hand over memorandum to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa outlining their demands. A senior assistant secretary at the president's office then accepted the memorandum. A teach-out was held at the Independence Square in Colombo this evening.
These are really important discussions that citizens are getting together and organizing to understand better the very many demands that are happening in the protest sites today.
News First with the people.
Protests are taking place in the country demanding the resignation of the President, Prime Minister and the government. However, various other matters seems to be the focus during parliamentary debates. The opposition has handed over 2 motions of no confidence against the President and the government. The post of Deputy Speaker has fallen vacant following Ranjit Siambalapitiya's resignation today. The Parliament will have to vote to choose a Deputy Speaker if there are 2 nominations to the post. This would also put to test the government's majority in Parliament. However, neither the no confidence motion nor the selection of a Deputy Speaker did not take centre stage in Parliament today. I am making a request from you. Let us suspend standing orders and take up the 2 no confidence motions that were submitted. Don't delay this. Allow a democratic vote for the post of Deputy Speaker to take place. Parliamentarian Siambalapitiya says you had not given his letter to the President during the party leaders meeting. Provide a clarification on that. I submitted my resignation to the President twice. I received a copy of the letter sent by the President confirming that my resignation has been accepted. According to standing orders, a Deputy Speaker must be appointed. This shows that you are not acting according to the law. Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abewardena told News First the motions of no confidence will be tabled in Parliament once they are available in all 3 languages. He said the act of translating the documents has already begun. During today's party leaders meeting, the Parliament's Secretary General had said the no confidence motion must be taken up for debate within 5 days after being placed in the order book. Government parliamentarians convened under the patronage of the Prime Minister today. There is no decision as such. The Prime Minister is to comment on the country's issues including the economy, public issues and parliamentary issues. He will deliver the speech tomorrow or the day after.
Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, returned to the country today after visiting His Holiness Pope Francis at the Vatican recently. Speaking to reporters, the Cardinal said the country's leaders should commit themselves to resolve the people's problems. We hope that our leaders will act for the betterment of the country. It is their responsibility to do so. As responsible leaders, you should fulfill the request made by the Buddhist chief prelates. We have had enough of these dramas. The people are suffering. Their woes need to be heard immediately. It is their responsibility as political leaders. The fact that the President and the Prime Minister has full autonomy in handling the law is regrettable. I am urging all political leaders to come forward and implement a new beginning in Sri Lanka immediately.
More news follows after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Yasa isuru, pirunu tanak neveka. Lokuma salli tiyena tana. Ape sallit parisam nisa.
ඉහළ ප්‍රතිලාභ සමගින් විශ්වාසනීය තැන්පතුවක්.
LB Yasa Isuru, unparalleled rewards for a trusted deposit.
Welcome back to the news. Sri Lanka's farmers, who are widely regarded the backbone of our sustenance, have been forced onto the streets at present due to the dearth in fertilizer, pesticides and adequate compensation for crop damages.
Vegetable farmers in Uvaparnagama engaged in a protest march today, highlighting their grievances. The farmers who marched to the Agrarian Services Centre in Wallahamulla, Uvaparnagama, demanded the government to rectify the issues they created. Officers at the Agrarian Services Centre agreed to direct the letter to their superiors. Farmers in Uduwara, Halyela are reaping their harvests at present. Most farmlands in Udunuwara were cultivated with the use of organic fertilizer. However, it has led to harvests dropping significantly. There is no harvest. Since there is no urea or chemical fertilizer, we can't succeed. This paddy is useless. With their constant pleas falling into the deaf ears of authorities, farmers in the Kaudulla Maduragiriya farming settlement engaged in a religious ritual at the Biso Bandara ancient Devalaya situated on the bank of the Kaudulla River. We love farming, but these rulers destroyed it. They made us beggars. Beggars in India are donating money for us to eat. Are we so shameless?
Can the fuel, electricity and gas crisis be resolved? The Ceylon Electricity Board engineers have warned that power cuts may run longer. The warning was issued as a generator of the Norachole power plant had malfunctioned yesterday. One of the generators of the Norachole power plant experienced a breakdown. There is some issue with the ID fan of the generator. Due to this, we have lost 70 megawatts. Anyway, we are short of 270 megawatts right now. We need to find an alternative way to generate this power. It's a loss to generate this missing power using fuel. We held a discussion with the Mahavali authority to fill this void using hydropower, but we didn't get a favorable response from them. They agreed to support us to some extent. Accordingly, we will obtain this from the Samanala and Lakshapana reservoirs. So far, we are only imposing power cuts for 3 hours and 20 minutes. We might have to extend these power cuts up to 5 hours because of this issue. We cannot rely on hydropower completely. We need to use it sparingly. If we don't receive rain, we will have to rely on fuel again. It will result in a huge loss to the country. It takes 5 days to carry out repairs. In addition to this, we will need 7 to 8 days to shut down the plant and to restart it again.
What is the country's current economic situation?
I don't think we will be able to give a solution even in 2 years. We had $7 billion as reserves. We went ahead and reduced taxes at a time the tax rate should have been increased. I admit that it was a grave mistake. There is no doubt Sri Lanka's usable foreign reserves are below $50 million. But we have paid $8 billion in debt. Dollars were issued to the market to hold the exchange rate at 203. All these measures have led to the rapid decline in the liquidity of reserves. We should have approached the IMF before. There is no doubt. The rupee should have been allowed to depreciate gradually. Some wrong decisions that we made in the last 2 or 3 years has led to this situation today. There is no doubt about that. The tourism sector has to be boosted. Secondly, we must attract more remittances from foreign countries. Thirdly, we have to attract more investors. The investors will not come into the country with what's going on here. We also have to regain our market access. We have to restructure our debt and gain access to the market again. These are the key areas we have to work on. There is no other way to address these issues. I am performing the job of a night watchman. I am not an economic expert. I am willing to do whatever I can. If there are any economic experts, you are welcome to take over. As a short-term solution, India has given a credit line to us. It was worth $500 million to import fuel. We have about $100 million remaining. They have also given us $1 billion credit line to import essentials. $200 million will be allocated to import fuel. We have made a request for another $500 million. We are trying to import fuel required by us until the end of June. This is a situation on the ground. I don't know how long it would take us to receive assistance from the IMF. Practically speaking, I feel it will take about 6 months to enter into the program. We have also requested for an emergency loan under the RFF facility. We are also discussing with many foreign nations on how we can obtain about 3 to 4 billion that is needed as bridge financing. We hope to submit a new budget soon. We will have to increase the rates of income taxes. Apart from that, we will have to join with the IMF and make several reforms. The cabinet that was in power gave priority to myths, deprived fertilizers for farmers and threw pots into rivers. When these foolish acts were done, why were you silent? Those responsible must be sent home definitely. The government led by the president must be removed. The Prime Minister must go home. You don't have to create positions for us. We will support all the right decisions that are made for this country.
The Chief Minister of India's state of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, has appealed to the people in his state to send humanitarian aid to Sri Lanka. In a statement, the Chief Minister said 40,000 metric tons of rice will be sent to Sri Lanka as the first part of the assistance. He added that India's central government has also approved to send 500 tons of milk powder and life-saving medicines to Sri Lanka.
Many quarters have responded to the revelations by the JVP and the Voice Against Corruption movement on corrupt deals.
During a media briefing organized by the Voice Against Corruption movement yesterday, former President Maithripala Sirisena and his family members were accused of benefiting off the central bank treasury bond scam. The former president responded to these allegations today. During a media briefing of the JVP, Anuruddha Dissanayake spoke a great deal about corrupt deals and the people and the institutions involved in them. We have no issue with that. Whoever is involved in fraud and corruption must be punished. After Anuruddha Dissanayake expressed his remarks, Vasantha Samarasinghe has said he has documents to show that former President Maithripala Sirisena and his children have benefited through these scams. If either me or my children have acquired state assets unlawfully at any point in life, I am willing to accept any punishment. While I reject that my family had received central bank funds through perpetual treasuries, I am asking Vasantha Samarasinghe to submit the documents to the Criminal Investigations Department today if they contain the name of me or my children. Otherwise, hand them over to the IGP or the Minister of Public Security or the Attorney General. Don't waste even a single day. On behalf of my conscience and my children, I wish to clearly say that this is political mudslinging. We can send out a letter of demand if we need to hide our shame, but if he has the documents, then it's up to him to prove it. Venerable Damra Ambilatheru responded to the allegations levelled against opposition leader Sajith Premadasa on misusing money belonging to the Central Cultural Fund. At that time, projects were carried out to build Dhamma school buildings at temples. A huge amount of funds was allocated for that. We approved approve those projects. That's because it falls in line with the law. We also consider the contractor to whom these construction projects were vested with. These were given to state institutions. We therefore granted approval for them. Anur Kumar Dissanayake said that Amila Thero had not signed that, but in reality I signed it. It was money belonging to the Central Cultural Fund that was spent on rebuilding churches after the April 21st attacks. I don't believe there were any irregularities in that project. Most of the Prime Ministers have never headed this institution. The quorum for the meeting of the board is 4 members, but many people had signed to approve the projects. I feel that Anur Kumar Dissanayake had been given wrong information in this particular aspect. It doesn't mean that all the other revelations were false. Anur Kumar Dissanayake is carrying out a splendid effort in revealing corrupt deals. My statement shouldn't affect that.
ඒකට කිසිම අබමල් රේණුවක හෝ මම මේ කරන ප්‍රකාශයෙන් හානියක් නොවිය යුතුයි.
In a statement, the Prime Minister's office said Yoshita Rajapaksa, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, will take legal action against Anur Kumar Dissanayake over his allegations. The statement has refuted the numbers and names of lands that were revealed during the revelation. Former Central Bank Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral has rejected the allegations levelled against him yesterday. He had said legal action will be taken at the right time. Former Minister Namal Rajapaksa also tweeted that he rejects all allegations levelled by Anur Kumar Dissanayake.
The European Union, together with UNESCO and the Sri Lanka Press Institute, held celebrations of the South Asian World Press Freedom Day 2022.
The event was held under the theme Journalism Under Digital Siege.
New Delhi, and all of us together. And today it is essential. And while I'm thinking,
let me start by quoting the late Sri Lankan journalist Lasanta Wickramatunge. There is a calling that is yet above high office, fame, look, and security. It is the call of conscience. Now, the safety of media persons using digital interface has significant implication of freedom of expression, press freedom, and privacy protection. If we value the free flow of information for citizens, government and international organizations, then the safety of journalists is central. Across the world, new laws and policies restrict freedom of expression online. Dozens of laws have been adopted or amended since 2016 that contains only vague language or disproportionate punishments that threaten online freedom of expressions.
The Divi Savya program to distribute dry rations among low-income earning families continued even today. The program is sponsored by LOLC.
2 teams distributed dry rations among families in need at 8 locations in the Jaffna district. The Divi Savya program is being carried out with the support of LOLC.
And with that, it's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jama Ratnayaka. Do take care, stay safe, and have yourself a good night.